So we're still not done yet with big updates for No Man's Sky in 2021, and as a matter of fact the biggest of them all yet, at least for this year, is still just around the corner. As we got used to from Hello Games, they usually keep the big bangers, the big updates, the big hitters around summer/fall, and 2021 is extra special, not just because we're getting new updates, but most important because on August 9 is when the game gets its 5th year anniversary. I definitely believe Hello Games has something interesting in store for us around that time, and I also want to touch on the subject of some of the recent rumors, leaks and speculation that I've been keeping an eye out for, so let's jump right into it. Before jumping in with today's video, a quick word for our sponsor, Edge of Eternity. If you enjoy turn-based JRPGs, then this is probably going to be a great fit for you. Right now it's available on PC via Steam, GOG and the Epic Games Store, and so far it managed to get a very positive reception considering this was created by a very small team. Regardless, there's a lot of content in it, over 50 hours of gameplay as well as storyline in there, and they even got the same composer behind Chrono Trigger and Xenoblade Chronicles to work on the game's soundtrack. But you get to play with a pretty diverse set of characters and companions, all with their own unique skills and abilities, including this very adorable beast cat that you can also use as a mount, by the way, and there's plenty more in the game, including a pretty advanced crafting system with tons of items that you can craft and enhance to make your party that much stronger. So definitely go ahead and check out the game by using my links down below, and I will give another huge shout out to the developers over at Midgar Studios and their publisher Dear Villagers for sponsoring this video. Now, about a month ago or so, I did touch on the subject of the fact that 2021 would be another big comeback year for Hello Games and No Man's Sky once more, and well, lo and behold, last week we got the Prisms update, and we're still not done yet with this year. As a matter of fact, I already talked about this, but ever since 2020, Hello Games has been releasing content updates at a significantly accelerated rate. And not just that, they also contain a lot more features, they are a lot more interesting, and they seem to increase in scope and scale. Just to give you a quick comparison of how fast Hello Games is moving lately, by this time last year we only got 2 significant updates with the Living Ship and the Exomech, with the crossplay being released on June 10th. Well, here we are in 2021 and we already got companions, 2 expedition updates which were very important and got some really amazing rewards, and we also got the Prisms update just last week, and it already seems that the 3rd expedition is on the way and it might release sometime soon. Now, this might be a separate release from the big summer or fall update, but I can also see Hello Games bundling this all together into one big overhaul, especially since this might also be story related. Well, this was all interesting last year, but 2021 already kicked it off with some really interesting rumors and speculation, one of which is from a user that correctly predicted 2 of the previous updates in 2020 months before they even released. So this post was made last year on May 30th, and he already predicted the fact that the next month, in the middle of June, there would be a significant content update. Well, that came in the form of the crossplay update for No Man's Sky, and they already predicted correctly that the game would eventually get crossplay, which was with the Origins update. They also talked about the fact that the game would get crossplay support for all of the platforms, which was not possible until the update in June last year. But most important, they correctly specified some of the stuff that would happen months later in the Origins update, especially the fact that it would be a prog-gen update, the fact that it would add new biomes with more alien planets, fauna and flora, and they even mention it down to a T with actual improvements to flora and fauna, and this was actually true in the update notes when we read them last year. But yeah, there were a few hit or misses in there, like we definitely didn't get an orbital mechanic, for example. That was not the case. Also, new combat elements can be debated because we didn't get a combat update yet, only small improvements, but most of it did fit that, and it did make sense. Like, 3-4 months before that update's release. Well, here is the forecast for 2021 summer update, though I will take that with a grain of salt. Technically speaking, well, September is also considered summer, at least until the 21st, so it doesn't mean that the big update will drop in August, for example. It might also drop in September like Origins did, but that is still considered summer in many regions. So the features right here look very interesting. We should get new forms of cities/settlements according to the rumor. A new space station owning/rebuilding will be possible, and very interesting, a new enemy race will emerge in our universe, which according to the rumor would be a sentinel type of race. This ties in with the next improvement, which is on the base building, and the fact that we would get base defensives, better purpose bases, and more base parts. Also, proc gen improvements similar to the ones in Origins are listed, though on a smaller scale, and they would not include any reset. Hello Games are also working, and this is quite interesting because this ties in with some data mines, better water physics, as even to this day it doesn't look great, and I agree on that. The rumor is even mentioning waterfalls and rivers, which is pretty interesting because we already got some really interesting data mine that is pointing out towards waterfall files being added in No Man's Sky. Also not 100% sure, but from what I've been told, there will be worlds from a past era introduced, maybe something story related, and finally trading, freighters and ships will have rebalancing/improvements done to them, though nothing major. And yeah, most of this looks pretty interesting, I'm not gonna lie, especially the water update. That's something that I've been waiting for honestly years at this point. I believe I touched on this as early as 2019, and especially so in 2020 when we talked about the water physics, the fact that it would be really awesome to get water similar to the one in, for example, Sea of Thieves. Maybe not on that scope and scale, maybe on a smaller scale, but something, you know, that would improve the game so much more. Like, just imagine how we got the Prisms update, the fact that they made the night sky a lot more realistic. That small change added so much to the scenery. You can only imagine what water physics, proper ones, would do to No Man's Sky if they got added and implemented. Well, apparently we do get some data mining done on that, so it seems that a bunch of people in the No Man's Sky community have been talking about the fact that there are some water related files added in the game. They have been added over the years, but more importantly in the past few months especially. So Thunder over on Twitter has mentioned that one of his friends was talking about waterfall animations. So I've been doing some file digging, and they updated a bunch of the water shaders, and it even looks like they added code for basic physics and some sort of waterfall animation, which does make that rumor on 4chan sound a little bit more interesting. Also, Rayrod, which is one of the biggest, if not the biggest modders for No Man's Sky, and he has been pretty much since the beginning, I believe. Yeah, he was also able to confirm that new water files have been progressively added over the past few updates, and it's possible that Hello Games is planning to add new water in the game, which would sound really interesting. So these two right here do correlate. They do correlate with the files and also with the rumors. So I mean, I'm keeping my fingers crossed because this would literally make the game perfect for me. Now, the part about space station owning and rebuilding does make a bit of sense because we already have the space stations. They have been changed. There's this big AI bot eye inside of it that we can apparently override in one way or another, but that's not currently possible because we are lacking the way of acquiring those overriding units in the first place. But let's follow up to that. What happens if you own a space station or rebuild it? What happens next? Like, why would you even want to do that? What is the benefit, the ultimate goal for you to even do that with a space station? Because you can already trade in it, you can find NPCs in it, you can start missions in it. It already gives you a ton of benefits, including hunting ships, for example, and multi-tools and upgrades. What other reason would you want to own a Space Station 4. Totally let me know down below what is your opinion on that, but personally I think that that would tie in with the new race type, with the new worlds from the past era. I think that this might just contain a new story update content in there that is also long overdue because we didn't get it in quite a while at this point. And this new Sentinel type race might further tie in with the base defenses. What if they add a base defense in No Man's Sky, kind of like, you know, those mobile phones? I always like these, by the way, because you build your base, you defend it, it's really awesome. What if we get like an alien invasion that you have to protect yourself from in No Man's Sky, kind of like maybe Plants vs Zombies, or maybe some other similar type of turret base control? That would be really cool. Again, take this with a huge grain of salt, because even though this user got it right the first time, it might just be a fluke. It's honestly something that anybody could have speculated on and eventually got right. What we know so far is that Hello Games are still planning for big upcoming updates, and 2021 is still going to be a year that's going to see significant content being dropped over the months. Not so sure about 2022, but I guess we will see towards the end of the year. In the meantime, totally let me know what is your opinion down below. What do you think of this? What other types of new additions would you like to see in the game? And I will see you guys in the next one.